God's chosen ones. When mind, body, and spirit align for the third time 11 shifts, you've been waking up for no reason. But your soul knows better. Your body's not resting because it's remembering. Your thoughts are quieter, but they're not gone. And your spirit, it feels like it's rising even while you're standing still. This isn't your imagination. This is your third alignment. Mind, body, and spirit. No longer strangers, but one voice. If even silence has started to feel loud, you're not crazy, you're chosen. Comment 777 if your soul already knows this is the shift. The silence was never empty. It was preparing you. She didn't know when it started, only that something quiet had changed. The mirror no longer lied, but it also didn't tell her who she was. The emotions came in waves, not loud ones, not the kind that screamed. These were different. They arrived like whispers inside her bones. Sadness didn't crash anymore. It sat beside her, asking to be heard. And when she finally placed her hand over her heart, she didn't ask it to beat louder. She just whispered, "I'm listening now." The world hadn't slowed down, but she had. There was no big sign, no booming voice, only a strange knowing. This is not anxiety. This is not depression. This is alignment. She began to feel things in silence that she once only felt in chaos. She didn't need music to cry. She didn't need pain to pray. And for the first time in years, she didn't feel like she was fighting to exist. No one else could see it. She still smiled at work, still did the dishes, still checked her phone. But something sacred had split inside her, and where there was once noise, there was now a question. What is this stillness becoming? At 3, Tarian shout, "Amma." She woke up again. No fear, no panic, just a strange peace, like her soul was being rearranged in the dark. She didn't run from it this time. She didn't scroll, didn't distract. She just sat, and in that silence, she felt it. Her spirit had stopped wandering. Her body had stopped screaming. Her mind had stopped arguing. And for the first time, they were all walking in the same direction. If you're still here, you're not imagining it. This isn't your first awakening, but it might be your last before you fully remember who you are. You're not breaking. Beloved, you're becoming whole in a way most people never will. Because this time, you're not awakening alone. You're being aligned. Type 777 if your soul already whispered. This is me, part 1. The map was hidden in your pain. You used to fight the sadness. You used to beg God to take the ache away, praying it out of your chest like a curse that didn't belong. But something has shifted, and you don't panic when it comes anymore. You pause. You breathe. You listen. Because now, you know something that only pain could have taught you. It wasn't here to punish you. It was here to prepare you. In your first awakening, the pain felt like a wall. You tried to break through it. You tried to numb it. You learned to smile with your teeth clenched, to cry in showers so no one could hear, to look strong while falling apart. But now you don't run. You sit in the ache like it's a teacher. You ask it questions like it's holding a secret, and you place your hand over the part of your body that trembles and say, "What are you trying to show me?" This is what alignment feels like. Not fireworks, not a halo, but finally realizing pain was never your prison. It was your prophet. That's why the emotional triggers feel different now. They don't hijack you. They invite you. They whisper, "Come deeper. There's something buried beneath this bruise." You're learning the language of your nervous system, the way it tenses, not because you're weak, but because your soul knows what isn't safe anymore. This isn't emotional instability. It's sacred clarity. And when the world says, "You're too sensitive," you finally smile and say, "No, I'm just finally listening." Because the truth is, well, the places you used to hide from were the places God was already speaking in. What if the parts that hurt the most were where God left you the map? Part 2, your body is not betraying you. It's leading you. You used to feel betrayed by your own body. The nausea that came out of nowhere, the sudden tightness in your chest, the fatigue that made no sense. Doctors called it stress. People called it overreacting. But you always knew it was something deeper. And now, for the first time in your life, you've stopped trying to fix your body. You've started listening to it. Because what if the headaches were holy? What if the stomach flips were sacred? What if your body has always known the truth before your mind did? You're not losing your strength. You're shedding the weight of things that were never meant to live inside you. Foods you used to love now make you sick. Conversations you once tolerated now drain you in minutes. And certain people, just the sound of their voice creates tension in your spine. But here's what no one taught you. That's not dysfunction. That's divine intelligence. You're not overly sensitive. You're finely tuned. Your body doesn't whisper anymore, it shouts. It protects you when your mind hesitates. It says no before you find the words. It tightens when you're about to betray yourself. It softens when you're finally in alignment. This is what spiritual maturity feels like. Your nervous system becomes your compass, not a burden, not a curse. A sacred guide whispering, don't go there. It's now? Trust me. That's not for you anymore. You're not supposed to live out of sync. You're not supposed to endure energy that makes you sick. And no, you're not being dramatic. You're being refined. Because when your body, mind, and spirit finally agree, you won't tolerate what drains you. You'll only crave what builds you. Your body is not weak. It's wildly prophetic. And it's been trying to save you long before you started listening. What if your symptoms were never sickness, but sacred instructions from your spirit? Part 3. Lonely, or just being realigned by God. You looked around and realized the room wasn't empty. But somehow, you still felt alone. Not the kind of loneliness that craves attention. Not the ache of missing someone, but something else. Something deeper. A holy disconnection. A soul-level silence. People still call, they still ask how you are, but something inside you knows. They don't see where you are anymore. And the strangest part, you don't need them to, because you've stopped trying to explain your awakening to people still living in your old chapter. This isn't rejection. This is realignment. You didn't lose friends. You lost attachments to old versions of yourself. The one who used to people please. The one who laughed at what hurt. The one who tolerated half love, half truth, half presence. Now you crave silence. Not because you're escaping the world, but because you're finally hearing yourself again. You walk slower. You observe more. You know what your energy feels like, clean, and you protect it like it's your last breath. Because it is, your peace is sacred. And you've learned that not everyone deserves access to your atmosphere. You're not isolating. You're recalibrating. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. God always hides his prophets before he reveals them. The wilderness isn't a mistake, it's a sanctuary. And right now, if it feels like you've been pulled away from the world, it's because heaven is tuning you to a frequency the world can't yet hear. So don't rush this quiet, don't curse the stillness. You're not disconnected. You're being reintroduced to your true self. You're not being left behind. You're being set apart. Solitude is the soil where spiritual identity is restored. What if the silence around you is where God is speaking the loudest? Part 4. You're not losing control. You're gaining divine trust. At first, it felt like things were falling apart. Plans unraveled. Dreams shifted. The timelines you clung to collapsed in silence. You used to ask, when will it happen? When is it my turn? Why does everything keep slipping through my hands? But lately, something's changed. You've stopped asking when, and you've started asking something far more sacred. Am I truly ready to hold what I prayed for? This is the moment your soul stopped manifesting from panic and started aligning from presence. You no longer chase. You attract from wholeness. You receive from rest. You used to follow every manifestation technique. Visualize. Write it 55 times. Light the candle. Say the affirmation, and still nothing. Now, you've realized it was never about chasing the blessing. It was about becoming a vessel worthy of holding it. You're not losing control. You're handing it back to the one who never lost it. Divine timing isn't late, it's layered. And right now, everything that was denied was simply being delayed for your energetic maturity. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. Because God doesn't give keys to rooms your character can't sustain. So now you flow. You still move, but you don't strive. You take the steps, but you don't force the door. You know that what's meant for you isn't chased. It's carried by grace. And when doubt tries to whisper, when will it happen? You now whisper back, I trust the one who's writing the story. This is what spiritual trust feels like. No maps, no outlines, no 5-year plans. Just the quiet confidence that you're walking with the current, not against it. You haven't lost control. You've gained a new kind of power. The kind only the chosen ones are trusted with. What if letting go was the holiest kind of alignment? Part 5. The final sign is peace, not fireworks. It didn't come with thunder. No lightning bolt. No angel choir. Just a quiet moment where you realized you weren't waiting anymore. You were ready. No more gripping timelines. No more searching for signs in every cloud, every clock, every stranger. Because this time, you became the sign. You used to crave the high, the goosebumps, the sudden breakthroughs, the fire of awakening. But now, your soul craves something different. Peace, steady mornings, deep breaths, no more proving, no more chasing, just presence. Your ego will try to tell you it's boring, that nothing's happening, but your spirit knows this stillness is sacred. You're not numb, you're healed. And that's the part no one talks about, that the final stage of awakening isn't always ecstasy. Sometimes it's just peace that no longer needs to be explained. You walk slower now, you listen deeper. You don't perform anymore, you embody. You don't need applause. You've heard heaven whisper, "Well done." This is the third alignment, where your mind doesn't race, your body doesn't flinch, your spirit doesn't hide. All three finally walk together. One voice, one direction, one divine rhythm. And when people ask what changed, you'll smile and say, everything but nothing, because your life may still look the same. But your frequency, your foundation, your alignment, it's heaven-coded now. You don't explain it, you carry it, you live it. And peace, not intensity, is your new confirmation. You're not waiting for a sign anymore, you are the sign. The fire already burned, now you rise in stillness. What if your peace is the loudest proof that you've been chosen all along? You weren't breaking, you were being rebuilt. If you're still here, it's not just because you watched a video. It's because your soul recognized itself in every word. This wasn't content, it was confirmation that you are not lost. You are not late. You are not behind. You are becoming quietly, sacredly, in a way the world won't understand, but heaven already celebrates. The shaking you felt, that was not destruction. That was the foundation of who you used to be. It finally crumbling, so the truth of who you are could rise. This wasn't your first awakening, and it won't be your last. But something is different now. The striving has stopped. The searching has stilled. And in the silence, you finally feel it. You're not reacting anymore. You're responding. You're not waiting for peace. You are peace. You're not hoping to be chosen. You've already been marked. And this alignment, it didn't come from effort. It came from surrender. So if your heart's been tender lately, if your body feels sacredly sensitive, if your mind is quieter than ever before, don't run. Don't resist. This is your sign. This is your right. You are God's chosen one. You're not being broken. You're being rebuilt on a foundation that can't be shaken. Not this time. Not anymore. Comment 777 if this is exactly what your spirit needed to hear. Because the moment you say it out loud, you confirm it in the spirit. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is preparation. Stillness is alignment. Stillness is action when heaven is moving. You're not behind. You're right on time. You're not alone. You are chosen.